Hello, class. This is Leah Behrens with my summary on chapters 3, 4, and 5 from our textbook that are based on project-based learning. Chapter 3, Imagine the Possibilities. So projects that are highly contextual are created through a series of decisions. The first step of project planning is identifying the big ideas. What are the core concepts and processes at the heart of the subjects we teach? What big ideas should students know after studying with you? If your students understood or could do just 2 or 3 things, what would those be? Good projects connect directly to students' frame of reference, interests, and experiences. Project learning overlaps multiple disciplines, and a well-designed project causes students to stretch their intellectual muscles in a way that traditional learning activities cannot. We want to use the last 3 levels of Bloom's taxonomy to really engage students in their project. So here are some learning dispositions that should be taught during your project-based learning activity. And these learning dispositions are important traits, attitudes, habits, and feelings that we can encourage but usually not teach directly. And some of these include confidence, curiosity, resourcefulness, cooperation, motivation, persistence, and courage. We also want to make sure that students are reflecting throughout their project. When students understand how they learn and can reflect on their own processes, they become more sophisticated learners. We want to nurture a growth mindset in students by encouraging determination and praise effort over smarts. We want to say, wow, you worked really hard. So here are some essential learning functions that were discussed in Chapter 3. Number 1 is research, with deep learning with experts, original works, and raw data. 2, make ideas visible and express ideas creatively. We want to make sure that we're bringing ideas into the open and it allows us to talk about and make meaning. 3 is collaboration. Projects invite collaboration and tools and services abound to help us learn together. 4 is project management. We want to help students bring coherence to their projects with tools that support good project management. Number 5, reflection and iteration. Encourage reflection and cycles of improvement. Thoughtful, iterative work becomes excellent work with each revision. Number 6, supported study or enrichment using open educational resources. Help students tap into shared textbooks, courses, curriculum, and other personal learning options as they strike out on their learning path. All right, Chapter 4 was titled Strategies for Discovery. Now we want to starting a project plan designed by someone else is something that you could do. You can also design your own project plan. If you decide to start a project plan designed by someone else, be aware of the quality and be really selective when you're looking for projects. If you decide to design your own project plan, review other plans first and be a critical consumer. So here are some of the potential pitfalls that can happen in project designing. The activity can be long, but short on learning outcomes. If every student product is similar, or if what they produce can be found easily in any reference material like Google, this is an indication that the learning accomplished is on the lower level of Bloom's taxonomy, which is recall and understanding. Remember, we want them to be on the top levels of Bloom's taxonomy. So another one is technology layered over traditional practice. Consider whether technology is used to meet authentic learning goals. Trivial thematic units. Imagine how themes change or how power could be addressed repeatedly over the year throughout a variety of different projects. Overly scripted with many steps. So the best project has students making critical decisions about their learning path. Some projects may have a lot of steps that are actually very useful to the project, so just make sure that you are reading the steps and making sure that they are essential for what the project is and what you want the assessment and outcome to be. So not enough focus on formative assessment. With project-based learning, assessment needs to happen early and it needs to happen often. And finally, assessment that doesn't feel authentic. When students are doing real-world projects, their work should be assessed in a way that mirrors real-world measures of quality. And here are just some important features of Chapter 4 of a project that's done right. I'm not going to read all of them, but I'll just mention a couple. It causes students to construct meaning, crosses multiple disciplines, uses rich data or primary sources. Students learn with and from each other, and they have students learn by doing. All right, last chapter, Chapter 5, Making Assessment Meaningful. By assessing students throughout the project, you help students learn a great deal more than if you left the assessment for the end. You are able to adjust the project, assess and address misunderstandings, and guide students in new directions. Two main purposes for assessment are measuring student learning in a summative way and evaluating the quality of the project so it can be done better next time. A summative assessment helps get a clear picture of what you feel counts as acceptable evidence to help guide your students toward the end goal. Once you have the end in mind, you can go back to project learning and think about what kinds of activities students would need to engage in to acquire these new skills, concepts, and dispositions. You also want to create a rubric that reflects growth in certain skills and dispositions that were focused on during the project. Formative assessment. This kind of assessment enables you to guide your students' efforts towards the learning goals and make necessary adjustments to help them achieve quality results. It helps to create a timeline that follows the arc of the project, such as setting milestones, planning check-ins, and looking for other progress markers throughout the project. At the end of Chapter 5, there's a good list of different assessments. Here are some of them: brainstorming, checklists, concept maps, exit slips, interest inventories, portfolios, project logs, and review protocols. And that is the end of my summary on chapters 3, 4, and 5 of our textbook. Thanks for listening.